Welcome to the Big Four Accounting Firms podcast, brought to you by big4accountingfirms.com. Now, in today's episode, I wanted to talk about some news out of KPMG UK and from a website called FN London. Reportedly, KPMG is asking new partners, to contribute more cash to the firm in order to strengthen their balance sheet ahead of a $1 billion claim from the liquidators of Carillion. Now, if you remember, Carillion is this never-ending scandal for KPMG in the UK. And KPMG UK also has a new CEO, as you might remember, John Holt. He took over for the last guy, Bill Michael, who resigned after some crazy comments last year regarding all the social justice stuff. But so in the light of that, KPMG is facing this Carillion thing that's never ending. And it seems like the regulators, the liquidators, everybody is piling on. And on top of that, they have another lawsuit that's coming up. So there's multiple lawsuits going on for KPMG. There's this huge scandal that could cost them $1 billion. And so they come up with this new structure for partners. And they're going to be raising money from them. And it's going to be supposedly doubling. Reportedly in the past, it was around 70 to 80,000 pounds to join the partnership in the UK. And then now it's increased to 150,000 if you're a new partner, and rise to 500,000 pounds for the most senior band of partners. And I'm sure that they're pitching this to partners as just more investment and potential, and you have a potential to earn way more if you pay this additional money into the firm. But in light of all these scandals, I would have a lot of questions before I provided that money to KPMG, because why do they actually need this? They haven't had to pay the claim yet. Yeah, they have a lot of legal fees and they have a lot of potential liability, but they do have a lot of regulatory fines to pay as well. But if I was going to potentially join a partnership, I wouldn't want to join a partnership that needs cash to deal with ethical issues. And I think this just people need to embrace this, or people need to understand this before they join KPMG, that this is what you're getting into. This episode is brought to you by Voomer. Voomer helps you ace the interview at the Big Four accounting firms, and it does this by helping you practice on questions typically asked on the Big Four interview. And if you use the link or promo code which goes to tryvoomer.com/big4, or the promo code BIG4, then listeners get 10% off their purchase. So go ahead and check out their website, tryvoomer.com, and see if you like all the tools they have that can help you prep for your Big Four interview, and you do choose to purchase it. Make sure to use the link in the show notes, because with that link, you're going to get 10% off, or make sure to use our promo code. All the details are in the show notes. If you want to join KPMG, you have to understand that there's risk. Do you really want to continue your career in a firm that continuously faces these ethical issues where they're being sued, they have billion-dollar claims against them, their CEO resigned in disgrace? It's just a whole bunch of stuff that is bad. And then on top of that, you need to double your investment to get to that final step of your career. And I hope the people that are actually going to pay this request something in return. They request that there's a thorough audit, and you need to understand how that audit of the company's finances are performed, because the same people that are having all these ethical issues are telling you that everything's okay and you need to put more money up. Well, how do you know that more money is going to keep the firm afloat? And how do you know you're not only going to get that money, but you're going to be paid, and your future career isn't going to be damaged? The people KPMG UK should start looking into Arthur Andersen a little bit more and how everything from that went. Now, a lot of people recovered and just transitioned to another Big Four accounting firm, but KPMG UK is facing some issues here. They have a new CEO. I'm not sure that this is the right way to do this. And we, as accountants, we already faced thousands of hours over our careers of training that we have to do because of past accountants that done bad things. And for KPMG, In the UK, it's only going to get worse. And I mean, it's not just KPMG in the UK; it's KPMG in the US and the deferred prosecution agreement that they have with regards to tax items. And it's just ethical problems all over the world for KPMG. And you really have to ask yourself if you want to join KPMG. Now, a lot of people won't have the join KPMG won't necessarily have a choice because that might be the only firm that recruited you, it might be a location issue. But if you do have a choice, you should not join KPMG. It's a tone of the top thing that we talk about here all the time. And I think there's a lot of people trying to feed off of KPMG. The regulators smell blood in the water, taste blood in the water, and they're just going after KPMG. These people with lawsuits, and any time a firm goes under, they're going to be immediately filing lawsuits against KPMG. I'm not sure how you can file $1 billion claim against KPMG. KPMG makes in the UK makes about 2 or 3 billion a year. That's a huge amount of money for them. And on top of that, the regulators in the UK just focus on KPMG more. But I think it's also KPMG's the smallest big four. So they get the smaller clients, the clients that are most likely to have these issues, because a lot of these clients that are hiring KPMG are price sensitive, meaning they're going to go for the cheapest big four because you don't have a choice but to hire the big four, and they're going for the cheapest one. So they're the ones that most likely to have the problems. So it's like it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. KPMG is going to keep running into this. KPMG is going to keep getting the smallest clients, going to have to keep cutting fees lower because of reputational risk that people have hiring them. So that's just something you have to consider too for your career. It's okay to work for KPMG, but I don't think it's a place to have your whole career just based on this risk. And to put money in, they're asking larger amounts of money. You better make sure that you're going to get that money back. That's one thing I would say. And I don't think this is a solution to what's going on at KPMG. And I hope KPMG, the leaders there, fight back against this stuff and trying to improve the brand versus just destroying morale and trying to create a Ponzi scheme, asking people to put more and more money in as more and more problems arise. So those are just my thoughts on that. And I think this is a very interesting issue. And I think we'll just have to keep an eye on it. And this Carillion thing has the potential to really damage KPMG. I mean, it already has damaged their reputation. And I mean, I think KPMG has to look at various ways out of this. Maybe ways to decrease their footprint in the UK just because of the risk. I mean, obviously it's going to be difficult to do that because the partners in the UK won't want to do that, because the more money they make in the UK, the more money they can distribute among the partners. But it seems like the larger they stay, the more regulators and lawyers are going to sue them and fine them and come after them and blame them. And so they should look at a way to change their brand or shrink their footprint just so they could fly under the radar and avoid a lot of these headaches that are about to come from people smelling blood in the water. But that's the podcast for today. Make sure to subscribe to this podcast to stay up to date and check out the show notes for useful links. Thanks for listening.